Greyhounds. You look at them and you just see absolute raw speed, right? They're majestic, built like aerodynamic torpedoes, and they carry this wild history that literally stretches from ancient pharaohs all the way to the flashing neon lights of the modern racetrack. Welcome to our explainer of William R. Foster's Born to Run, inside the world of greyhound racing.
Here's what we're looking at today. 1. Ancient roots to modern tracks. 2. The anatomy of a racing greyhound. 3. A day at the races. 4. Controversies and animal welfare. And 5. Life after the racetrack. Okay, part 1. Ancient roots to modern tracks, from royal companions to commercial athletes.
The evolutionary timeline of this breed is just incredible. I mean, think about it. Back in ancient Egypt, greyhounds weren't just utility dogs working the fields. They were revered royal companions to the pharaohs. You can literally see their silhouettes carved right into tomb walls as these ultimate symbols of nobility. Then jump forward to medieval Europe and they transition into the aristocratic hunting dog of choice, mainly valued for their insanely keen eyesight. Fast forward a bit more to the early 20th century and they're brought over to the US. That's where we see this rapid evolution, from informal field runners chasing rabbits into the highly professional commercial athletes we see on the formalized post-war American tracks.
Moving on to part 2, anatomy of a racing greyhound, built for speed and agility.
45. Let that sink in for a second. 45 miles per hour. That is the jaw-dropping top speed a racing greyhound can actually hit on the track. That is literally highway speed. And that number is definitely not an accident. It's the result of a highly specialized anatomy. We're talking a slender, aerodynamic build, incredibly powerful hindquarters, and something really wild called a double suspension gallop. That's basically a highly specialized stride where during a single sequence, all 4 of their feet actually leave the ground not once, but twice. They are literally flying.
Now, what's fascinating is the contrast in how these dogs actually race. Look at sprint races. You're talking 300 to 550 yards. That is all about pure, raw speed and explosive 0 to 60 acceleration right out of the starting box. But then you have route races, stretching from 600 all the way up to 1,000 yards. In those longer events, the whole game changes. The test shifts heavily toward cardiovascular endurance and strategic pacing. It really proves these dogs aren't just one-trick speed demons. They are incredibly versatile, thinking athletes. All right, part 3, a day at the races, traditions, wagering, and the mechanical lore. So if you're hanging around the track, understanding the mechanics of wagering is an absolutely crucial part of the culture. It starts pretty simply with the win bet. You're just backing a dog to finish exactly first. Now, if you want a little bit of a safety net, you bet place, which pays out if they finish first or second. Or there's show, just to hit anywhere in the top 3. And if you're looking for the ultimate thrill, you can go across the board. That basically combines win, place, and show into one single ticket. It's this perfectly structured escalation of risk and reward that honestly keeps the whole crowd so deeply engaged. But you know, race day is about so much more than just throwing down a bet. It's a vibrant, deeply ingrained tradition. It actually begins really quietly at dawn with these sunrise kennel visits and trackside breakfasts. Enthusiasts are out there spending their entire morning meticulously analyzing the morning line odds, digging into the stats, and then, boom, the tension just shatters with that explosive release from the starting boxes. It's immediately followed by this high-speed, intense pursuit of the mechanical lure, culminating in those dramatic, absolute heart-stopping photo finishes right at the wire. The energy is just electric. If you find this analysis valuable, please like and subscribe to Knowledge Lighthouse to help us bring more truths to light. Let's turn to part 4, controversies and animal welfare, objective perspectives on racing ethics. Look, there is no denying that racing takes a very real physical toll, and as objective observers, we have to balance that against the industry's preventative measures. Dogs do face common injuries. We're talking bone fractures, severe joint stress from those high-speed turns, and muscle strains. But on the flip side, the industry counters this with heavily structured prevention efforts. Think mandatory pre-race health assessments, implementation of vastly improved track surfaces specifically designed to absorb shock, and strict on-site veterinary oversight. It's this continuous, honestly difficult balance between intense athletic competition and dedicated animal care. And we also need to neutrally examine the historical controversies around performance-enhancing substances. Driven by the intense pressures of the sport, doping has been a real issue, carrying severe cardiovascular health risks for the dogs. Today, however, regulators are fighting back hard with stringent anti-doping measures. They deploy completely random drug testing, advanced mass spectrometry, and these really sophisticated biological passport systems.
Those actually monitor a dog's biological markers over time to ensure they're maintaining a clean sport. But all of this rigorous competition, the injuries, the intense regulation, it all brings us to one absolutely critical question. What happens when the race is over? Because eventually, every single athletic career comes to an end, right? And that means we have to shift our focus from the ethics of the track directly into the ethics of their retirement.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Life After the Racetrack, From Athlete to Companion.
The transition to retirement isn't just opening a gate. It requires a really multifaceted adoption process. These dogs are moving from highly structured, super active kennels into totally relaxed home environments. That requires thoughtful behavioral and physical transitions, not to mention rigorous adoption vetting processes to ensure it's the perfect fit. Yet, you'd be amazed. These resilient dogs are incredibly adapted at adapting. Lots of them even undergo retraining for therapy and service roles, constantly overcoming public stereotypes and proving they are so much more than just racers. As Foster notes in the book, quote, "Retirement and adoption programs stand as crucial components of ethical greyhound racing practices. Ensuring a dignified life after racing isn't just some afterthought. It is absolutely vital to the ethical stewardship of the entire breed." So we've journeyed all the way from ancient Egypt through the evolution of the modern racetrack and finally into the loving homes of adopters. As our society continues to evolve, the real question is, how will this enduring bond between human and hound adapt to whatever the future holds for racing? For the complete deep dive, own the paperback. Get your high-quality paperback edition on Amazon via the link in the description. Add it to your collection today. Please share this video and check the description for more.